So, I say that I say all that to say this. I wrote an article. Okay.
Thanks.
So I can't wait for y'all to hate me for this. And I've been dying to have you guys talk about this. So it is the 50 best Marvel comics of the last 2000s.
Oh boy.
So is that from 2000 to now?
Yes. 2000 to from 2000 until from 4 months ago. I'm looking at the article now.
Okay.
Oh, 50?
Top 50.
So the 50 greatest comic books of this century.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna name the comic books, okay? And if you have something to say stop.
I got one question before you start. Is it issues or series?
Series.
Okay. Got you.
Okay. Because if we're going issues, then there's no way I'd be able to do 50 because we'd be here all fucking day. All right. Number 50. Marvel Zombies Volume 1.
Damn, bro. This shit better be great if that's 50. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with Javi. You coming out hot.
Number 49, Moon Knight from the Dead. Do you know which one that is?
No, I don't know that one.
Moon Knight from the Dead was Moon Knight became a more interesting character in the early 2000s, blah, blah, blah. This is Warren Ellis took charge of the created an anthology fitting to this is when Warren Ellis took over and he created an anthology for Moon Knight.
Wait, are we talking about Marvel's? Okay, I just want to go back before I go damn. The Marvel Zombies, is that Marvel Zombies 1 or is that like all Volume of the 1. Marvel Zombies Okay. So I won't be too upset that Moon Knight.
All right. Number 48, Marvel Knights Spider-Man 1 through 12.
Okay.
Number 47.
I like that.
Number 47, Thunderbolts by Warren Ellis. 46, All New Wolverine by Tom Taylor. Javi's probably
that's the one. That's the first one with Laura Kinney, right?
Yep.
Oh, I like that. That should be higher.
I'm surprised you just have a Wolverine book that I was assuming like your top 10 will be all Wolverine books. But
keep waiting, Javi. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad at this particular comic book being rated so low. Immortal Iron Fist by Ed Bierbacher and Matt Fraction at 45.
Okay, and what are we judging? Because the artwork, I don't know a lot of books with better artwork than that. Not to mention the story, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Number 44, New Mutants by Vita Ayala. Number 43, X Factor by Leah Williams. Number 42, Captain Marvel by Kelly Thompson.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Come on. That book was so much better than 42. Because Carol Danvers was basically, and this is not me saying this is what she was the big-titted blonde bimbo for 30 years. And then she even had the stupid-ass suit, almost like Power Girl, that just showed her whole titties. And then Kelly Thompson comes in.
Not only titties, it was titties. No. This was after Kelly Thompson. Kelly Thompson added on to what happened. So the version you're thinking about was before Kelly Thompson took over. But you're right. Before Captain Marvel Carol Danvers got the revamp, it was titties, camel toes, and booty.
Yes, that's all it was. And yeah, there was a series where she became Captain Marvel because she was Miss Marvel, and then she was what's the thing called when she was with the X-Men? I forget her name, but she was with the X-Men. She was Miss Marvel Binary. Yeah, she was Binary. And so, yeah, then they made her Captain Marvel. And then Kelly Thompson comes in and writes an incredible run of Carol Danvers. Which is why we have the movies that we have in the version of Carol in the movies we have.
But again, that was all before Kelly Thompson took over.
No, that wasn't before, was it? Yeah. Kelly Thompson took over, 20...
You got to remember, Kelly Thompson just hit her 50th issue. I want to say like this month or last month.
Who was writing Captain Marvel before? Was it Claremont?
We'd have to look that up, but I honestly don't know. But so here's the thing, and this is the one thing that you guys are going to realize that yes, I agree with what y'all are saying, but then you got to realize the other 41 comics that are after this.
Okay.
Number 41, and Javi's gonna yell at me. Adam, Legend of Blue Marvel, at 41.
Oh, you talking about his origin story?
Yep.
Oh,
well, first of all, that's bullshit. And I'm only saying that because I feel like I can say that because Captain Marvel's my dude, and I know you're not taking that personally. I'm just hurt because the story that tells, introducing like the 60s, 50s, 60s era of what the Marvel universe looked like, and not shying away from racist attitudes that should have existed at that time period, and how that affected an African American superhero that could they were more they were more concerned. The U.S. government was more concerned about the public finding out that a blackface was responsible for saving them, and a blackface had the power to destroy the world if he wanted to, than actually, somebody protecting them. I think was just a powerful message, right? Like,
so Javi, here's the thing about that is we can do. I miss BBN. I agree, but when you hear what number 40 is, you may understand where I'm going. Number 40, Planet Hulk / World War Hulk.
You know what? I was not that big of a fan of that, so I always thought people overrated it.
I thought World War Hulk was overrated until I read Planet Hulk.
I like what it did too. It totally there's a point in the Hulk mythos, right? Before World War Hulk in Planet Hulk, and after World War Hulk in Planet Hulk. I think it's some of the best characters given the Hulk split personalities development that we've seen from the Hulk, like ever, other than maybe the Immortal Hulk.
Now, the part of the story where the Hulk fights the Sentry is all-time great.
That's one of the best fights ever, bro.
That's one of the best fights ever.
But that also adds to the comic book. You also have to remember, like, there was a lot of character development with the Hulk in Planet Hulk. There's a lot of like character development in World War. So, like, imagine because people always say, "Oh, it was just a fighting book." I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like, there's a lot of deepness to that. Like, finding out that for those people who found out that the Hulk wasn't really not the Hulk, but like the Illuminati wasn't the cause of the death of that planet, but realistically they kind of were, because they sent him somewhere he shouldn't have been to begin with.
And that was a great twist. Oh my god!
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on to it. Like, you know what I mean? So there's, I really feel like we could do 50 issues, 50 episodes on just all of these all together. Number 39, The Exiles, issues 1 through 65, because 66.
Wow, that is high, bro. I would like you putting The Exiles that high is crazy.
I love The Exiles, like, and I would have, if it was my personal opinion, I would have rated it top 10. But because 66 to 100 was so ass, I had to make it lower.
You know, The Exiles and Dark Beast are the only good things that came out of Age of Apocalypse.
But it's funny because the only thing that came out of from Apocalypse was Blink, and Blink I think is the cheat code for any comic book character except for Longshot. Blink can I literally think Blink could beat Blink from The Exiles could beat any character in any universe, period.
Every time I hear Blink, I get pissed because The Gifted was such a great fucking TV show, and they canceled it after one season.
We could do a whole fucking team. Okay, I'm moving on. Number 38, Captain America, Castaway in Dimension Z.
Never read it.
That.
Huh?
I never read it.
It's one of the better books ever. It's written by Rick Remender, one of his better books. Number 37, Black Panther, the entire series by Reginald Hudlin.
You like the Hudlin, right? I hated the Hudlin run. I hated it with a fucking passion. He made Storm and Black Panther get married, which made no fucking sense.
Oh, that made no sense. I hated
that shit.
But you also got to remember, like, how much of that was Marvel and how much of that wasn't him. But like, it was great. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, I have so much respect for Reginald Hudlin, but I do not enjoy. Like, for me, Black Panther, other than the first issues of Black Panther, like, which is weird to say, because they were written by like a Jewish dude, but other than those early Black Panther stories, which were great because at the time, again, because it shows that Africa isn't some dark, scary place, right? And that, like, it was a technological wonder house, right? I think the early 90s was a dark time for Black Panther because even the Black writers,
you could have stopped at like it was a dark time for Black.
Christopher Priest's run was way better than Hudlin's run.
Was that the one where was that the one where they created that weird character that had like a puppet?
Christopher Priest's run is the one that created the Dora Milaje and it created all the stuff that we see in the movies.
But it was still troubling though. It was still kind of like really depending a lot on like these Black stereotypes, bro. Like even the Dora Milaje at the time they were all concubines for the Black Panther. Like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I get it, but for my own personal morality, bro, it took a long time for them to really like get Black Panther right in my book. So
and Coates' run was better than both of them because Coates fixed all those things. He fixed all that shit.
The Ta-Nehisi Coates is like the definitive like Black Panther run. Like if you want to read Black Panther, that's the one you go. Number 36, Star Wars, Dr. Aphra.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. That should be higher. It's still going, by the way.
Yeah,
it should be. I mean, I would say I'm a Star Wars. Like, I love Star Wars, and I'm so happy that like Mark, like I like. Oh man, the fact that you read every time you tell me like, yo, I just read the last issue. I get excited because I'm like, damn, that's dope. But for me, I don't mind it being that high because for me personally, I think there are other Star Wars comic books that are actually better. Yeah, Vader is freaking crazy, bro.
Vader, the first Vader, that shit, and Vader Down, both of those.
Oh my god, Vader Down is personally, it's one of my top 10 comic books of all time. Like, I hated Darth Vader in the movies, and then I read the comic books, and I'm like, y'all are praising a Darth Vader that isn't worth praising. This comic book Darth Vader is by far the biggest fucking G. And okay, never mind. Going on.
They fixed that. So like the newer movies really show Darth Vader flexing.
But they
Rogue One was the first one.
But they still don't though. Like, Darth Vader got his shit pushed in, got his ass whooped, found a way to replace the parts that he missed, came back, and found a way to defeat a dude by basically saying, you can either defeat me, or you can save all the people in this town. And the dude was like, you don't want to do this. And Darth Vader was like, I don't give a fuck about these people. All right, number 35, Wolverine, Enemy of the State.
That's good.
Number 34, Deadpool, Jerry Duggan's run.
I hear that's good, but I have the books, but I didn't read them.
Let me tell you, Brandon, do me a favor and read them, because as you go on, you'll understand my love for Deadpool. And for those of you guys,
I had them in physical form. That was when I was still getting physical books.
And for those of you who can't see it, I have a Deadpool tattoo on my arm. I've had since about 2004, 2005-ish.
So that Jerry Duggan. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Javi.
I would say that Jerry Duggan run was probably the first Deadpool run that I read entire, like as it was being released, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, because it really gets into. I stay by this by saying, Deadpool, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of the few comic books that actually made me cry. That's how good it is.
Okay.
Number 30.
Give it a run.
Number 33, Wolverine Origins by Daniel Way. Number 32, Dark Avengers, Brian Michael Bendis. Number 31, this is a sleeper, Supreme Power by J. Michael Straczynski.
What the hell is that?
It's one of the Max series where Marvel did their own version of the Justice League. So Hyperion landed on Earth, and when their version of Martha and John found them, the government swooped in and was like, "Nope."
I
It's
have to
dope.
read this. I'm looking at it. I like it. The coverage is giving me a boys vibe.
It's oh yeah. It's not as creepy and dark and sex was the boys, but it definitely has that still kind of like dangerous vibe. Number 30, and I hated putting this as high as it did because I didn't necessarily like this series, but I understand what people did. New X-Men by Grant Morrison.
Yeah, that belongs there.
Number 29, Daredevil, Devil in Cell Block D.
I never read that.
Totally dope. Number 28,
Gone.
The Punisher, Welcome Back, Frank.
I've never
Never
read
read
a
that.
single Punisher comic book.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. I did read Punisher. I did read some of Punisher Max, but
You won't-
outside of that,
you love Garth Ennis because he's a crazy person. So
yes, Garth Ennis is insane.
Javi, this one's for you. Number 27, Annihilation.
Oh yeah,
Okay, that
Annihilation's
that,
great.
that entire analysis series, yeah, that.
Number 26, Hawkeye by Matt Fraction.
Oh, I love that. Love Hawkeye.
Yeah,
The color palette was so great too for that series.
it's everything about that is close to perfect.
And it inspired heavily the Disney Plus show.
Which was completely underrated. Number 25, Madrix / X Factor by Peter David. Number
You would
24,
have
I was
that.
waiting for a multiple man book.
I know.
it's
I
me.
was
I
waiting.
couldn't. That was the one thing I couldn't get rid of my bias. Number 24, Miss Marvel's first run, No Normal. This is the Kamala Khan version by G.
I actually have the first appearance of Kamala Khan.
Nice. Javi, what do we do? Who do we protect?
We are, and I feel effed up because I forgot her name, but the young lady that plays Miss Marvel is a national treasure.
Yep. Number 23. I wouldn't rank this as high personally, but I understand why people would understand this. New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, I was about to slap the shit out you if you said New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman at 23.
Number 21, Uncanny X-Force.
Oh man, that's my shit. Uncanny X-Force with Phantom X when they go back in time to kill Apocalypse as a baby. That is my shit. I love that series.
Number 21, Brandon. You'll probably want to attack me. Punisher Max.
Oh no, I mean they tell me Punisher Mac is great. I only read like one issue. Everybody says it's great.
Number 20, Captain America, Out of Time, Winter Soldier by Ed Brubaker.
Yeah.
Number 19.
Yes, great.
Number 19, Wolverine, Old Man Logan.
Oh god.
Number 18.
That's not even my favorite old man. That's not even my favorite old man joint, bro.
Number 18, Star Wars, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith.
Okay.
Number 17, Thor by J. Michael Straczynski. 16,
Yes.
Moon Knight, The Bottom. Number 15, Thor, War of the Realms. Thor 2, The War of the Realms. So everything that started with Jason Aaron throughout that entire series through War of the Realms.
I'm surprised you don't have that higher.
Listen, Jason Aaron and Thor go together like friggin' porn and private tabs on Chrome, bro. Like it's the perfect, just the perfect combination of two.
That's
things.
you and Hobby shit. I'm surprised it's at 15.
That's top 3 for me, bro.
But you also got to remember so you'll understand as it goes forward. Number 14, and let me just say this: number 14, when I initially started this, number 14 was 40, and then it was 35, then it was 30, then it kept going lower and lower. Number 14, Civil War by Mark Miller. And let me just say,
God.
So let me just say this: Civil War is not good. It's not.
Thank you.
It's not good. Civil War 2 was better than Civil War 1. And for all of you,
A long shot.
Yeah, and everyone goes, Civil War 2 is bad. I'm like, no, Civil War 2 was great. Y'all
Much
just
better.
don't
They just don't like Carol.
yeah, and it's funny because at the time I didn't like Carol Danvers, but she fucking rocked as a fucking villain in that. And you can understand, just like you could understand Tony Stark's whole like reason for being who he was. But honestly, Civil War 2 is better. But I understand what Civil War meant for comics. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So what Civil War did for comic books is it brought it to the mainstream more than anything else could have.
Okay, I can respect that.
Number 13, Ultimate Spider-Man / Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Number 12, Astonishing X-Men by He Who Will Not Be Named.
Who's that?
Oh, Astonishing X-Men is great. That's Joss Whedon.
He Who Will Not Be Named.
Oh.
Number 11, X-Men Second Coming / Messiah Complex. Excuse me, X-Men Second Coming / Messiah War / X-Men Messiah Complex.
Messiah Complex was so. Messiah Complex might have brought me back to mutants, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It was.
To be honest with you. Cyclops, because Cyclops is my dude. That's not how it is.
All right. So now we're in the top 10.
All right, here we go.
Here's where I'm wondering how y'all are gonna want to fight me. Number 10, Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis.
Which one is that?
It's the early two. It's like the. It was like late 90s up until maybe 2004 or 5-ish.
You got that better than the Frank Miller Daredevil?
But
oh no, that was way before 2000.
Exactly.
My bad, I forgot. These are 2000s. Okay, go ahead. You good?
Javi, you got anything on that?
No, I'll give that to you. That's not a bad book.
Number 9, Runaways by Brian K. Vaughan. Number 8. Number 8, Alias, Jessica Jones by Brian Michael Bendis.
I'm surprised you don't have that number 1, knowing you. But I agree. That's definitely top 10.
Number 7, House of M. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that House of M had just an effect on the entire Marvel universe in general. Like it wasn't the greatest, but like there was really good writing. The art was great.
When did House of M drop? That had to be like early 2000s.
What House of M?
Yeah.
That was like 06, 05, 04.
Okay, because I'm like, yeah, that's right at the line. All right.
Yeah. Number 6, Black Panther, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Number 6. Oof.
Yeah.
All right, go
ahead. When you see number 5, you'll understand. Number 5, House of X / Powers of X.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, all
right. Number 4, Amazing Spider-Man Coming Home. It was the first run J. Michael Straczynski did.
Never read that.
It's perfection personified. And here's okay. Number 3 is something y'all both recommended, and I'm shocked that you guys haven't been mad at me or haven't mentioned yet. Vision by Tom King.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Number 2, Immortal Hulk. Now,
I feel like you're picking these.
If this is not Times Runs Out, you are never doing a show again. If this is not Time Runs Out, Jonathan Hickman's run.
I mean, this, it doesn't have to be time. I'm thinking of this. Ooh, oh man! All right, go ahead.
I can't see that.
Go ahead. Wait,
it just says it just says the Hickman book.
Okay, there you go. It had to be. I was about to say, I did not go through 50 and not hear Avengers, New Avengers, Secret Wars.
It's the Hickman
Fantastic
book.
Four, Secret Warriors.
It's the Hickman books, man. Like New Avengers, Fantastic Four, Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Of the last 20 years.
It's the best.
It's
I mean, I think everything in Persian related, I think, has the biggest impact to this day of Marvel Comics, even the movies.
Yeah.
And you still haven't read Shield, have you, old man?
Red Shield?
Yeah, so so the Hickman run, right? The Hickman story is one continuous big story.
Yeah.
It's Shield, where it's like Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
And all these people.
You said Red Shield. I'm thinking like the color Red Shield. No, I haven't.
No,
I haven't
Shield.
read Shield.
It's Shield. It's Fantastic Four. It's Future Foundation. It's Secret Warriors, Avengers, New Avengers, and the Secret Wars. It's all one big story.
I haven't read Shield yet, but the Hickman books.
I'm proud of you.
I was, because I remember you guys have been telling me about this for months, and like, yo, you need to read it. I was like, fine, fuck it, I will engulf myself in this, because I remember reading it at first and I hated Hickman's Avengers. I absolutely fucking hated it. And then Secret Wars came out and I didn't like it. And then I went back and read Secret Wars 1 through 8 as like a volume. And I was like, this is fantastic. And this is before I read anything that goes on. And every year I would read Secret Wars start to finish. And we did a podcast and y'all were like, you haven't read this by Hickman and da-da-da-da. I was like, nah, I don't care enough to read this. I'm like, it was fucking bad. And you were like, you need to read this. So I went back. And actually Javi was like, go back and read the Ultimates. And I was like,
and okay, I'm glad you brought I'm glad I'm hearing the Ultimates at least once in this conversation,
yes.
damn it.
all right, I'm gonna tell you like it is. Mark Millar's Ultimates is a Republican's wet dream.
Wait, what?
Mark Millar's Ultimates, not the Al Ewing version.
Oh, okay. Oh, the Ultimates from the Ultimate Universe. Yes,
Ultimates from the Ultimate Universe is a Republican's wet dream. Like, it's one of the worst things I've ever read come out of Captain America's mouth was someone said, Sam Wilson goes, how do you feel about kicking a man when he's down? And Captain America says, that's the best time to kick him. And I'm like, yo.
So Javi, anything that wasn't on old man's list that's
I know he's gonna yell at me for the Ultimates not being on here by Al Ewing.
Anything? Javi, anything else you got? Because I got one that's pissing me off that he didn't put on there.
Oh, damn it! I was gonna ask you. I was like, yo, can we do like at least a top 3 or top 5 for each of us? And I'm so curious to see how they differ.
Oh, absolutely.
Where the fuck is Nick Spencer's Captain America run?
Woo!
Captain America, Sam Wilson, Captain America when he was old and Sam took over and he did all that racist shit into Secret Empire.
I didn't read it. I started reading it. Because that actually, it's funny because the Rick Remender series leads into what you're talking about.
That shit, man. Captain America, Sam Wilson. They got Cap on the fucking bridge, right? They got Sam on the bridge as Captain America, and they got these 2 Girl Scouts that want to sell cookies to them. One's a black girl, one's a white girl. And Fox News is there. Fox News is there filming this.
No, they don't.
Yes, Fox News is filming this. Who is he gonna? Oh, they go. Oh, we know who he's gonna buy the cookies from. That story is so great because it's exactly how they would treat a black Captain America. It's so great.
No, they don't.
Yes.
Also, as we're piling on to Old Man and all the hard work he did on that 50 list, like let's just pile on him a little bit more. I'm thinking about Donny Cates' Venom.
Donny Cates' Venom. Yes.
Which if that's not one of the bro, he made Venom interesting as a solo character. Not just interesting. He made Venom one of the premier characters in Marvel comic books right now.
I just again, so we all know these lists are it's subjective, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We all know these lists are subjective.
Some things are subjective. Some things are objective. If you had a top 50 list of the greatest comic books in the 2000s and Jonathan Hickman's comics weren't on there, that's objectively one of the top 50 greatest comics.
These are Marvel books specifically because if you want to go wider than Marvel, we got like Invincible, We have
we know Old Man
Adam
said those.
Strange
Yeah.
book.
I will go on.
Oh, you read that, Javi? You read the Adam Strange book?
Bro,
Strange Adventures?
So
I told you. Didn't I tell you it was great?
Yeah, bro. That was a great recommendation.
Yo, can I tell you there's one book. Between the two of y'all, there are definitely books that both of you guys have recommended that like I have read and just been like, holy shit, this is great. I will stand on there are not a lot of comic book hills that I will die on. I will die on the hill that Invincible is the greatest comic book of all time.
It's up there.
And honestly, I can't say you're wrong.
Yeah, me either.
I could think of other comic books in that up there with it, but I mean, it's the perfect book.
And one of the things that I always go with when I talk about like comic books being great, and one of the reasons I love Punisher Max as much as I do, is because there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. Punisher Max, everything that happens in issue number 1 comes to play in the very last volume of Punisher Max. With Invincible, everything from the very first page leads up to the very last issue. And one of my favorite moments was when Omni-Man asks Mark, he goes, in 500 years, when everyone's gone, what will you have left? And he looks him dead in the face and goes, you, Dad, I'll have you. And I went, fuck. The first time I read that hit me. And then when you get to the end of that series, and he's talking to his wife, and she's like, well, are you smiling? And he's looking down at his daughter, and he goes, my father asked me, what will I have after 100 years? And he just smiles, and I'm just like, yeah. Like you can't teach that kind of writing because he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like Invincible was so fucking good. And the funny thing about it is people don't realize his name is ironic. Because he gets his ass whooped a lot throughout.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
And like that's like talking about that, I'm just like, yeah, like thinking about it, it's like, yeah, like he got his ass whooped a lot. But then there was those times where he would win and still lose. And he was like, when he beat is his name Conquest, Javi?
Yep.
It is Conquest.
When he beat Conquest, I'm like, in that whole time he's beating him, he's just like, you're not leaving here. And he's like, and he like literally kills him with his bare fucking hands. And he was just like, this is it. You're not leaving here. I will die before. And it was just like, it was so fucking dope. And then 2 issues later, him and a bunch of people destroy a fucking planet.
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you haven't read Nick Spencer's Captain America. It's so great, man. There's a part where
Brandon, what's your top 5, bro?
Yeah, let's get it.
Jonathan Hickman is definitely number 1. That whole run is number 1. I mean, it's not, to me, it's not even close. That's number 1. Powers of X, House of X is number 2. I love that so much.
So good.
Honestly, Nick Spencer's Captain America run, I enjoyed that so much. That's number 3. I know he should not be named, but I loved Astonishing X-Men. I thought Astonishing X-Men was fantastic.
Flawless. Absolutely flawless. And this is one of those things where you're like, oh shit, you can have a comic book with Wolverine, make him fantastic, and he doesn't have to be the star. Oh my god. And Wolverine's my favorite character ever. But like, not my favorite character, but he's my favorite Marvel Comics character. And he doesn't have to be the star and still be a deep and consistent character. Everyone got their moment to shine. And and then there were these random, like, funny moments where you're like, oh my god, this is hilarious. Where he goes, and Javi's girlfriend, Abigail Brand, goes, Colossus, you obviously have no idea about destroying the break world. And Colossus with a straight face goes, no, I have been planning to destroy the break world since I was born. And everyone looks at him and he goes, this is why I don't make jokes. I never know when it's not a good time. And it was like, yo. It's little moments like that where something serious is going on, and you can tell that like that's something in his character to make a joke at the most inopportune time. And y'all know how I feel about Kate Pryde. Y'all know she's probably my second or third favorite X-Man ever.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just a bad. She did something. No, I don't even think Magneto could have done what she did. She kind of, because he kind of brought the bullet back, but like she literally made sure her powers continuously ran for months on end to protect a galaxy.
I'm glad you said his name because that was my number 5. Is the Magneto series from like 2016? I forget what it was. His solo series.
Oh, black suit Magneto was fucking great.
Yes.
Javi, what do you got?
I was quiet because I was trying to compile a list quickly. But definitely, and I don't know if I'm going to put this order. Well, number 1 is definitely going to be the Ultimates. And I'm only saying that this is 100% biased. I think it's one of I think 1 and 2. I think it's one of like probably the best concise series I've ever read. It actually, I don't know if I would like Civil War 2 if it wasn't for the fact that I read that first. And it highlighted a part of the Marvel universe that I think that I enjoy, the cosmic part of the universe, and it took some relatively street level superheroes compared to the cosmic parts of the universe, and really like just expanded that. I think that
It
other
also
than that, we have
it also put our girl on the map too, America Chavez.
Yeah. Donny
I don't
Cates
mean
Venom.
to cut you off, Javi. I forgot. There was a 5A for me, just so I can get it up before I forget it. I almost want to stab old man with a plastic fork that he did not have this in the top 50. That was Superior Spider-Man.
Oh, damn. That's on my list.
It's Superior. I want you to think about everything I named and ask yourself, is it as good and influential as everything else that's going on there?
Influential.
Yes.
I don't know if it's as influential as everything else that's on this list. Was it?
I won't. If I was Brandon, I wouldn't say Superior Spider-Man because Superior Spider-Man, it would have been on my list. So you say influential, but I'll expand that to the Spider-Verse series.
Okay.
If we're talking Spider-Man runs over the past like 20 years, I would probably put Superior Spider-Man probably in the top 10 or 5. It's for me, it's interchangeable. I would have to go back and reread it. But if we're talking like, here's the other thing about that is I also feel that Superior Spider-Man was cut short, and not just when he was in Peter Parker's body. In general, and thankfully he's coming back in September, I want to say. But there's just a lot going on. There was a lot going on with Superior Spider-Man, and he should have been. It could have been better than what it was, and I kind of feel because of the death threats from stupid fucking idiots that Dan Slott received.
Yeah,
and probably Marvel, they're probably like, it's not necessarily worth what they're getting. You know what I mean? So I can't be mad at anybody saying it's top 50, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm surprised you didn't put it. I'm surprised old man didn't have this on his list because I know he loves this series. But Dan Slott's Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was one of the comic books that I initially had on there. Wrote a whole fucking section on it. If they ended up taking it off only because, like I said, a lot of these, it comes down to the same thing. Like isn't as good and influential as everything else. Dance like that run of Silver Surfer, like, and I hate saying this because I don't like using this phrase. Chef's kiss good.
Yeah, extremely good.
It's better than
And
most of
funny.
the stuff you listed. But here's the thing: if I were to bet money on where Marvel takes inspiration for Silver Surfer when they put him in the MCU, I would bet a lot of money that they take it from that Dan Slott run. A lot of it.
They'd have to.
That character.
They would absolutely have to because it was one of the few times that people saw Silver Surfer have a person not a personality. I shouldn't say a personality, but they made him personable. Like they put him with somebody else where he wasn't necessarily the focus. Like it was funny when she named his surfboard Toomey, and he was like, "Why do you like who's Toomey?" And she was like, "Your surfboard." And he was like, "Excuse me." He goes, "You keep saying Toomey, my board," and he laughs, and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen Silver Surfer laugh, or explain, or when she's holding her breath, and he's like, and she's like, "You can breathe," and he goes, "How are you breathing?" "The power cosmic." That makes no. And then this whole conversation, and he goes, and then she goes, "That seems pretty convenient," and he goes, "That's the power cosmic," because it's something that everybody has been saying for years. The power cosmic makes no fucking sense, but it's not supposed to, and I loved it. And then there's one scene in particular where Silver Surfer's like kind of like got his head, hands behind his back, hand behind his head. He's laying on a surfboard, just kind of like relaxing, chilling, and smiling. And the woman who's taking a trip with her, I forget her name, and she's sleeping. And he's having this moment. It's a really human moment where he just kind of feels, probably for the first time in millennia, it looks like he feels content. And Dan Slott's the only person who's ever made the Silver Surfer seem happy. You know what I mean? Or just kind of okay with everything that's going on. And you don't get that very often. And I forget which one of y'all suggested it to me, but I couldn't get over how great Silver Surfer, Dan Slott by Silver Surfer was.
Yeah, you didn't put it on your top 50, so Javi's right.
Yeah.
But again,
I got two more. It's only because I wasn't expecting this, and I'm trying to compile this list. So I just got two more before I forget. Karen Gillan's Eternals, which is probably the most recent book I have in this series.
I knew Javi was going to be mad at me for that. That was actually Javi. That was actually initially number 50.
Bro, I mean, again, it makes the Eternals like it's a good book. I don't want to get into details. We've been on this for a long time, but if you know, you know, right? And I had one more. Oh, House and Powers of X.
Yeah, House of Powers of X.
So we all agree that House and Powers of X is like one of the 3 greatest comic books Marvel's made in the last like 20 years. I'd go as far as to saying it's either top 5 or top 10 greatest things Marvel's ever produced.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not even a mutant guy like that. I agree with you.
But again, praise be to Hickman.
Like you're the best, man.
Like he's just like everything he's created has just been so fucking good, man.
Yeah.
And it took, and Javi knows this. It took a lot for me not to put Marauders on this list.
Yeah. Oh, 5A, just because Brandon got one. Sorry, it's coming to me. Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. Also great.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That's on there. The Black Panther Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Oh,
that
was. I separate those as 2 series, but
right. I put all of that on there, like because that Ta-Nehisi Coates thing was
great. Yeah, great.
Did you read Void Rivals? Old man, when I sent you the text?
No, there's so much stuff I've been consumed with recently, and like this whole like, especially considering I'm trying to like the stuff that I'm reading, and I try to get in a row, and I just stop. Like I don't read like something unless it's new. I still haven't finished Human Target.
Oh, Human Target was great.
Yo, this cover looks crazy. Void Rivals?
Oh yeah, Void Rivals is there's a panel towards the end of Void Rivals, where you go, oh my God. That's what I said. I said, oh my God, I cannot believe this happened.
Oh my God. Brandon puts me onto the most random shit. What was the one where you had to fight to be a governor or fight to be a politician?
Oh, I forgot about that one. I forget the name of that. That one was good too. God, I forgot the name of that. Because I'm always looking for image books because I want to read. I want to read something where some of these creators get full control of what they want to do. Like the people that I like. Like anytime Hickman writes an image book, I just get it because I'm like, I see what Hickman does within the constraints of Marvel. I can't imagine what he can do when he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. There's also a series called Black that I absolutely love too.
Man, you should do another article at some point. I know 50 is a lot, but you could do the top 20 non-big two comic books of the 2000s.
It would require me to really go back and I'm so fucking far behind on a lot of things. I did a top 100 characters of all time.
We gotta do a show on that.
All time. And I specifically did number one, partly to piss people off, but partly because I'm a good enough writer to make myself. Plus I'm a good enough writer to get my point across. And let me tell you, the number one character was not Spider-Man, it wasn't Wolverine, it wasn't Superman, it wasn't Wonder Woman, it wasn't Batman, it wasn't Magneto. And I was like, this is going to be the number one character, and I'm going to explain why. And people could be as mad as they want about it, but I was like, no one had a better evolution than this person did. Period. Nobody.
What, Kitty Pryde?
Yep. No one had a better. No one in comic books is other than Invincible. No one's had a better evolution. Not even thinking Invincible. No one had a better evolution than she did. Because you look at Kitty Pryde when she first started, she should be gone. You know what I mean? She shouldn't be in fucking comic books. She damn sure shouldn't be part of the fucking Quiet Council. She damn sure shouldn't be a skilled ninja. She damn sure shouldn't be someone that's feared. You know what I mean?
I mean, her power set's kind of crazy. I think I agree with you, but I feel like a skilled writer with a character like Kitty Pryde can do a lot.
They have her powers are OP.
Yeah.
I get into this argument with my best friend about who would win in a fight between Sue Storm and Kate Pryde, and I'm always like, Kate Pryde.
Of course, they had Kitty Pryde in the fucking Fox dumbass movies be able to send Wolverine back in time.
That was
the dumbest, stupidest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yo, they didn't even explain it. I was watching this going, did y'all just have at the time Ellen Page, but now Elliot Page? I'm like, did y'all just have them just hey, we have you in the contract, so can you just do this?
I would much rather them have introduce a mutant that can just go back in time than that convoluted time travel plot that they came up with in that movie.
No, because the character didn't do much, they could have just got some random person who all they had to do was just keep their eyes closed and keep their hands next to fucking Hugh Jackman and go, hey, you're Rachel Gray. Problem solved.
There you
go.
No.
There was so I actually wrote an article. I'm actually going to start a list of articles about good things that happen in bad movies. And let me tell you, it's going to take me a lot to not completely shit on a lot of movies that are just bad. The X-Men franchise. Oh my God. What the fuck was Fox doing? And Brandon, I know how you feel about Logan. We're not going to talk about Logan. But God, this is going to sound really blasphemous. I don't know if any of the X-Men movies actually still hold up.
Fox X-Men made one good movie. If I take Deadpool out, no. The only X-Men movie that was good was First Class. Was the best movie that they made.
I forgot. But here's the thing. I forgot. Who remembers First Class was a movie?
You know what I remember from? Let me tell you. And here's the funny thing.
You're right, though.
Every one of the Fox movies has moments of brilliance. That's the part that's frustrating. Every single one of those movies have moments of brilliance in them. Every one.
Even
of
the
them.
Dark Phoenix?
Not Last Stand.
Yeah. Ian McKellen moving the Golden Gate Bridge was brilliant. Like
it looked cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's moments of brilliance because he looked fucking great. The whole like he was like a conductor, just like moving shit. Like that was great. Like there are moments of brilliance in every one of those movies. What the fuck was it? Not Apocalypse. I think Apocalypse is the worst movie the Fox has done with the X-Men franchise. I hate.
Was awful.
I hate. Like it's fucking awful, and they should be ashamed of what they did to Oscar Isaac because he could have been a great Apocalypse, but they fucked that up. But that scene where Magneto is, and it's like a minute long, and he's about to kill everybody in that plant. Brilliant. Him just going, Eric, don't do this. My name is not Eric.
Wait, what did you say was the worst one? The worst? What's the worst?
You said Apocalypse.
X-Men Apocalypse is the worst X-Men movie.
So that first Wolverine movie with a Deadpool that doesn't
I take it back. The Wolverine is the worst X-Men movie ever.
Okay.
The Wolverine. That second Wolverine movie, I won't watch again. I will not watch that movie again. The only thing good about that movie, again, moments of brilliance. That scene on the bullet train, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
All the dorks love Days of Future Past.
That movie was good. It was good.
I watched that movie and I get so angry because it's so stupid and it completely fucks up their entire timeline, which is what makes Logan, not to get into Logan, which is what makes me hate Logan so much, because Logan essentially just ignores their own timeline.
So, Brandon,
is Logan really an X-Men movie? Like, does it have to?
Yes, Logan takes place not 9. Logan takes place 6 years after the end of Days of Future Past. So you know at the end of Days of Future Past when they come back and Wolverine walks into the Jean Grey school and he sees everybody, like the end of that movie. That is 6 years before Logan.
No,
so from that point until Logan, the whole world goes to shit in 6 years.
And somehow Logan loses like half of his healing factor.
And Xavier goes insane in 6 years.
So here's the thing.
And all the X-Men die.
Hold on. Y'all are both people of science. So I'm gonna point something out. I'm gonna point something out about Wolverine's healing factor and Xavier's telepathy. There are points where Wolverine's healing factor can be maxed out. If he's having these giant fights that consistently never end, his healing factor can be maxed out to a point where it's just like it's so overused that it's like, all right, I can't.
Oh man! I just want to save you here from apologizing for a horrible movie, especially when it does something to a character that I know you love so much.
I love Logan.
Wolverine's healing factor gets maxed out when he's fighting like the Hulk.
But yeah,
not when he's fighting some street level jerks with guns.
But imagine if he's getting shot, like he beats a bunch of people with guns, he heals 5 minutes later, and then he has to do it again and again and again for 6 fucking years.
Bro, I've seen Wolverine in the comic books get turned into basically a puddle of blood and bones. And next panel, he's back.
You realize from the first time we saw Wolverine until the Days of Future Past, it's been like 100 years. And then in 6 years, he turns into Old Man Logan.
But that's the other thing. Like it's been 6 years. It's been over 100 years. Eventually, at some point, the wear and tear of his year. Like, and we also don't know what happened between Days of Future Past and whatever happened before that shit. So, like, yeah.
Thank you.
We don't know how good or bad his healing factor is up to that point.
Oh man, are you really happy with that movie?
What, Logan? I love Logan.
And Logan's not a bad movie. It's a bad X-Men movie. That's what I've said the entire time.
Are you happy with, like, do you feel like that's Old Man Logan is in your top 50 list?
Yes.
Right? It's a great freaking book. I think Old Man Quill is better, but that's just probably my bias.
It's your
Old Man Logan.
It's your cosmic bias.
It's definitely my bias. Right?
But let me also just say this. You don't get Old Man Quill without the greatness of Old Man Logan. But continue.
That's true.
100%.
Hold on. One of my favorite moments from Old Man Quill was Thanos tending to his garden with a fucking farmer's hat on, looking up, seeing Galactus. Galactus, the Shi'ar Empire, and like Galactus is like floating like home, and he goes, "Earth is screwed," and then looks back. Doesn't give
it. But with that being said, bro, like Old Man Logan is a dystopian future. Like you got ravenous, cannibalistic, incestuous Hulks, right? You got like that was a shadow of what an Old Man.
You're asking me to compare two things that don't exist. Old Man Logan is not in the same universe as Logan. I don't compare the two anymore. I've given up. There are certain things that I feel that when you're creating a franchise, when you're using a character's properties, and me and Brandon have waxed poetically, for the lack of a better phrase, about certain things that you need to do when it comes to characters. Batman should be a dick, plain and simple. That's just who he is. If your Batman is this caring and loving person without some type of Batman, don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted. Batman is caring. Batman is loving. But Batman is also a dickhead. Straight up. If your Bane isn't calculated and you're not,
it's not Bane.
Yeah, unless you're going for like even like the Harley Quinn cartoon, Bane's a bad motherfucker. He beat the shit out of Batman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there are certain things that should go forward to that. I watched Logan and I was very happy with Fox finally giving me a Wolverine that makes me happy with the character. He was old, he was grumpy, he was just
Clint Eastwood.
Huh?
He was Clint Eastwood. That's why I hate that movie, because he wasn't Logan, he was Clint Eastwood with claws.
Dude, Logan is pretty much Clint Eastwood. He's Clint Eastwood, but he likes black people.
Logan's a dude with a small man complex. That's like, I wouldn't say he's Clint. I wouldn't say he's like this.
He's Clint Eastwood. He's Clint
into the
Eastwood
Sunset Cowboy.
He's Clint Eastwood who likes black people. Perfect example. There's and during the Exiles, Nocturne explained Logan better than anybody else has. And she goes, Uncle Logan would drop himself in a pool of acid filled with acid-resistant piranhas that crawl up your butt to save anybody he loves. But he wouldn't allow me to go to public schools. That's Logan. That is the epitome of Logan right there. That explanation of him is exactly what Logan is. And I feel that they did a really good job of that, because Logan hated running around with Laura. He hated it. Every minute of it was like, just fuck this. I don't want to do this shit. Fuck this noise. Blah, 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 blah. Right? But he did it. He absolutely did it. And he hated carrying fucking Xavier around. And I watched this video, and it was like a pitch meeting. And it was like, well, why would Logan take Xavier out to the ocean where all he's going to do is hurt himself? And like, Charles is going to keep doing it. I'm like, yeah, because Logan is more than happy to continuously hurt himself if it means no one else gets hurt in the process. That's Wolverine. That's just who he is.
That's very true. Yep.
And there's a lot that don't get me wrong. There's a lot wrong with Logan. There's a lot wrong with him. But
we know.
But
and I mean, I thought you meant the movie, but yeah.
Oh no, the movie. The movie. There's a lot wrong with Logan in the movie, but everything that's wrong with Logan in the movie are also things that Logan would do in the comic books. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why a lot of it makes sense to me. But to Brandon's point, it doesn't make sense with the Hugh Jackman that they've given us for 15 plus years.
No,
hopefully Deadpool
universe.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It's like it doesn't even make sense.
But as a movie, it's a very good movie. If you don't look at it as an X-Men movie a Wolverine movie or X-Men or Wolverine movie within the universe that they built themselves.
And there we have it. If it's within the universe of the X-Men movies, then yeah, it's not nearly as good as the other ones because it feels weird to go on with all that other stuff and like that. But that's also the problem with the Fox movies. Like X-Men 1 doesn't really seem like, perfect example. X-Men 1's Halle Berry and X-Men 2's Halle Berry. Her accent disappears.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had to do that because it was horrible.
That's fine.
I don't blame them.
But this is why I think the first X-Men was actually really good, because I feel like the only complaint I ever hear about the first X-Men was Halle Berry's portrayal of Storm. Like, I don't really hear any other complaints.
Well, they had them stupid ass leather outfits.
I could
go. Bro, those were cool. Those were cool as hell back in the day, bro.
They were awful then. Sabretooth sucked.
They were awful.
Sabretooth sucked.
I mean, I could go. I mean, I did a whole podcast on why these movies were so bad.
Rogue was fucking one of the worst.
Bryan Singer whole thing was, I don't give a shit about the source material. Do not bring these comic books on set. I don't want you reading them because I don't give a shit about them. I want to do my own thing. So he basically took the IP and turned the people into whatever the fuck that he wanted to do, including and starting with the uniforms.
Well, but other than the uniforms, like, I can't think of like compared to the departures we see now from the characters in first material.
Are you kidding me? They're the reason we have departures from the character.
Yeah, Marvel's trying to move closer.
It's nowhere near as bad as it has gotten, I should say. You know what?
Hold on, Javi.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm looking. I just Googled the cast. All right.
The fact that they casted Hugh Jackman in the first place tells you all you need to know.
Well, here's the thing: you're not going to get a 5'3" character. Like, I'm not really mad at Hugh Jackman. I thought Hugh Jackman was as good as you're going to get with the source material. But when he was Logan, he was fucking great. Like, he did everything supposed to good. Rebecca Romijn, 10.
Great. Wait, she was great.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
James Marsden in the first X-Men, 10 out of 10.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck happened in 2 and 3. Famke.
Yeah. DC happened.
Yeah. Famke Jensen, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Ian McKellen, same thing. Anna Paquin, 0, but not her fault. Halle Berry. There's a deleted scene of Halle Berry punching someone with the fist of lightning. And I'm like, why was that a deleted scene?
Of course. Because that would be too comic booky.
She punched someone with lightning in her fist. That's a scene I want to see. And the scene was only like 5 seconds. And I'm like, y'all could have left that in there. Sean Ashmore's Iceman. That was awful.
I mean, to be fair, that was kind of the Iceman that we knew back then, right? Like most people.
How do you have an Iceman? How do you have an Iceman that doesn't make jokes?
However, you do realize X-Men the animated series was like this super popular thing that came on, that was on before this movie, and it's part of the reason why this movie was made. It's because
X-Men came out in 2000.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think I was a sophomore in high school at that time. Yeah, right?
You're too young to be on this podcast.
So I'm thinking it from those eyes, right? Somebody that, loves comic books at, I wasn't super young, but, sophomores, what's that, like 15, 16, whatever, right? That was cool to me. What else did we have other than that?
But we're also talking about like things like how they how they age. And they did not age well at fucking all.
I'm gonna rewatch X-Men. I haven't watched X-Men.
Oh, don't do it to yourself.
A decade.
Christopher Reeve's Superman came out in 1978.
The movie's still fantastic.
And
Is
they
Yes.
made a character based on the comic book that was very much like his character in the comic books, with all of the important parts to his character, including his bright blue and yellow and red fucking suit that he wore in the comic books. And that was in 1978.
The X-Men changed their costumes every new writer.
They don't wear black leather like fucking what's it called? Not S&B. What's it called?
S&M.
What's the
S&M
fucking outfits?
There's definitely some dark ass. There's definitely some. We mentioned one. Well, they're X-Force. Never mind. Anyways,
Uncanny X-Force.
Hold on. I want to make sure you guys hear this.
Hello, new West Coast, my West Coast.
Can you guys hear it?
Costa del X.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Marina del X. Otisburg. Who's this marks at the back? She's got her own place. Otisburg. Not any place. Otisburg. I just wipe off. That's all. It's a little town. You're a dreamer, Lex Luthor.
Like how fucking goofy is it that he was just like Otisburg? It's so fucking great. Like, yo, I saw that movie for the first time, like in reality. Maybe November, sometime in 2022. I saw it again as an adult for the first time, and I loved it. It was fucking great. Superman was great.
I mean,
Fox even teases Wolverine's yellow suit with that fucking suit in the after credit scene. They even so they even know, hey, this would be better if he wore a yellow suit. And then he never wears the yellow suit at all in the movies at all.
But dog, there is so much wrong with those X-Men movies. And you know what? I'm gonna say something blasphemous. The first, we don't talk about the third Spider-Man movie, but the first two Spider-Man movies are bad Spider-Man movies. They're just fantastic Peter Parker movies.
Yes, I agree.
That's a loaded. Ooh, that's man. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think Spider-Man 2 is overrated, but it's not a bad movie.
I agree 1,000%. It's the best part of Spider-Man 2 is Otto Octavius. Actually,
I agree.
The best part of Spider-Man 1 was fucking Willem Dafoe.
Like, I don't know how much time y'all got. I'm good, but I don't know how much time y'all want to keep doing. But I want to ask y'all this.
No, I'm gonna have to go. I probably have to go like 15 minutes ago. But
what is worse? The worst X-Men movie? The worst Spider-Man movie? So Spider-Man 3, or Dark Phoenix or Apocalypse, or that Fantastic Four reboot with Michael B. Jordan?
Oh God, that Fantastic Four, the Fan Four Stick is the worst thing that's ever been produced by anything. Like the like that let me put it like this. It's so bad that, like, again, I judge a movie by whether or not I'll go back and watch it. I've watched Dark Phoenix more than a couple of times. Intentionally. Granted, I stopped, after there's a certain point I stop and I go, I'm not watching this anymore. But what the hell is the dude's name played Ivan Drago in Rocky?
I forgot his name, but we know who you're talking about.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
I will watch the Dolph Lundgren Punisher before I watch that fucking third Spider-Man before I watch Apocalypse. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a scene in it where he goes, "Who do you think you are?" And he's got the shit beat out of him. He goes, "Batman."
Well, I go by expectations too, right? Like, I didn't see Fantastic in the movie theater because something told me that movie was going to be horrible, right? The X-Men movie, like the bad X-Men movies, the worst X-Men movies came after some pretty bad X-Men movies. So I'm like, all right, they're consistent, right? They're actually more than consistent. They're just like making it worse and worse, and almost to the point where you think they're doing it purposely. Spider-Man 3, me and my wife watched it again maybe a month or two ago.
I remember you texting me about that too. I actually remember you texting the group about this.
Yeah, it's probably the worst comic book movie ever created based on the expectations of it being a great comic book movie. I mean, we had finally Spider-Man getting the black suit, right? Like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. But for some reason, they decided to they decided to stuff Sandman in there, like it's three movies in one, and they're all bad movies.
Oh God!
Like everything's bad. Everything's bad. Nothing's good. There's no redeeming. There's nothing redeeming about Spider-Man 3 at all. Like I can say at least, oh, Fantastic Four. At least they tried to have, they tried to have a black, you know, Human Torch, or they went a little younger, right? Or
Yeah.
there's nothing good to say about the X-Men movies, but Spider-Man 3 is just really bad.
Let me tell you guys a story about. And we can end it after this. Let me tell you a story about going to see the 2015 Fantastic Four movie. So me and Valkyrie are getting together to go see. We were living together, so we were like, "Hey, I want to go see this movie." And Valkyrie's like, "Are you sure you want to go see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like the woman playing Fantastic. The woman playing Susan Storm. She's great. I like Michael B. Jordan. I want to go see this." I'm like, I'm trying to have faith this is going to be good. And then it was from the creator who did this movie that we just watched. I forget. It's called like Gravity or some shit like that. Well, let's go see it. So we go to see it. First off, it's not in Lux. That's bad sign number 2. Now, normally, the bad sign number 1 is my wife going, we shouldn't go see this. Because normally she's down. So that's bad sign number 1. Bad sign number 2 was it wasn't in Lux. So that should have said that's the other thing. Here's bad sign number 3, and this is before the movie started, and I'm in theaters watching the movie. Before the movie starts, the first trailer starts, and it's somebody like snowboarding down a mountain, and I'm like, I look at Valkyrie, I go, is this a Point Break reboot? And I was like, this, and she was like, there's no way this is a Point Break reboot. Finish the trailer, it's a Point Break reboot. That was bad sign number 3, that a Point Blank reboot was part of the trailers for this god-awful Fantastic Four movie. And that's when I should have said, hey, let's get up and leave the theaters. Because I kid you not, I have watched almost every movie more than once. More than once when it comes to there's, like I said, Apocalypse, I've watched. You know what? I'll take it a step further. I have watched clips from every comic book movie that I've ever seen, and some that I haven't seen. I've watched clips from them. You know what I've never done? I have never revisited Fantastic Four if it wasn't in parody. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I'm doing a set of articles where you talk about good things that happen in bad movies. Because I'm drawing a blank. Because the only good thing that I remember happening in the Fantastic Four was like a 15-second scene of Reed Richards using his powers in like Mexico.
I will never watch a single second of that movie ever again.
Yeah, all I remember, did Richard Reed did he give up his powers at some point in that movie or something? Like,
no, he just like left and went to Mexico. It was
bad.
dumb.
Just bad.
It was dumb as fuck. And let me and before we go, let me just say, I really think that both of you guys should watch Gotham Knights. The first episode is tough to get through, but the second episode is better than the first. The third episode is really good, and it continues to be good throughout.
Yeah, but it's gonna get canceled.
Oh, it's already canceled. It got canceled about a month ago.
Oh,
this ain't happening. They even do a good job with Two-Face's prosthetics. And the chick who plays the Joker's daughter, 10 out of 10. But that lead, oh God, he's bad. He's really bad. I remember me and Brandon talking about they should have made him Dick Grayson. Brandon, be happy they didn't make him Dick Grayson.
When did this series start? I didn't know this was a series.
January-ish.
Oh yeah, I was not paying attention.
You had no reason to. It's pretty fucking bad.
I was not paying attention at all. Is it in the Arrowverse?
No,
Oh, then F them.
there's no Batman in it. It's just fucking bad. It's there's a lot wrong with it. But Gotham Knights could have been something good, but they just didn't know what they were doing, and it ended up sucking. So
I'm gonna take something I said before. I said that I believe Spider-Man 3 was the worst movie of all time. I'm actually gonna have to replace that with the recent entry, Shazam 2. It's the first comic book movie that I started watching, and 10, 15 minutes in, I stopped watching.
oh, Harvey, I did the same thing. I just stopped. I'm like, this is bad. I just stopped watching because it was fucking awful. I'm like, and I love Lucy Liu.
Yeah, it hurt. Helen Mirren, two women that I have crushes on, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu. They ruined them. They wasted them in that movie. And I feel like I need to take a vaccine after watching Shazam.
Are we sure that the creation of that movie didn't cause COVID?
You know what? There's a strong correlation.
Oh man, DCU Dark COVID Universe.
Oh man.
All right, everybody, be good to each other. Peace.
Peace.